Hello and welcome to Topside Talks. I am Jacqui and I am here with my sister Suzanne.
Hello. You're listening to The Diagnosis.
In this episode, we are going to discuss how the patient handles the diagnosis, expecting the minefield to come, how to navigate the diagnosis in connection with the support that is available out there, critically what happens when a patient checks out, and hopefully we will guide you knowing that there is support available.
So, diagnosis. So, that's where it all starts, really, isn't it? I mean, obviously you get symptoms first if you've got something going on in your life, but diagnosis is where it all starts. And I guess for us, well, for me, it was the first place that I really experienced the more really challenging parts of life. And I remember do you remember where you were, Jacqui, when Dad got diagnosed?
No, not at all, but what a lesson.
What a lesson. Is that all you're going to say and then pass it back to me?
I can't remember. I don't know why I can't remember, but I know Dad's diagnosis was the start of a huge journey for the whole family. And how he handled it and all the things that came from that, were a huge lesson.
Yeah, it was a huge lesson. And actually, I wasn't at his first diagnosis, so I'm going to presume that Mum was, or he had it on his own even, because I don't actually know. But it was the place that kicked off all our learning, and we were chucked straight in it. And I guess what I remember initially is how he handled it, how he reacted to it. And of course we weren't equipped back then. I certainly wasn't equipped back then with the tools to be able to support him.
Okay, so we've obviously both got different views on how he handled it. For me, I saw a man that just didn't handle it very well, but he still went through all the motions of, I'm going to do what I need to do, but he did it in a very detached way. What was your view on how he handled it?
Actually, you say different, but looking back now, because obviously I was a lot younger, because we're going back, 16 years? 16, 17 years. So, I was a lot younger, and so I wasn't living in the family home, and I was just coming, toing and froing and seeing how he was handling things. And he all I saw was fear. He was scared and fear. And although that might sound, oh my gosh, he was frightened and we couldn't handle it, but at least I was... So at least him being scared was an expression that you could see rather than just hiding away when I look back now.
Okay, so obviously we want to share what happened with us and our family and how we saw Dad handling things and how that rolled out to the wider family. But ultimately, we want to help people out there that have been through or will go through similar things by actually being candid and sharing our journeys. Yeah.
So from the back, I guess, is the fact that you don't know what's going to happen. Your instant thoughts can be, he's going to die, they're going to die if you're going through a different experience. The unknown is always terrifying. So the anxiety levels shoot up, the fear shoots up, the questions, what's going to happen, how's it going to unfold, and all the things that you just don't know where to go for help or support. They all start to rear their head. And you have to find ways to cope with that.
And navigating that is a minefield. And seeing somebody not really handle it and be detached is a minefield. And not knowing where you have to go or who is out there to help is a minefield. So hopefully what we can impart through this series of talks is actually there are people out there to help. You very much have to be the one to find it. But maybe we can sort of point you in those directions.
Yeah, because certainly, maybe not this particular one, but sitting in a treatment room getting a diagnosis is an experience for the person having it, and how they take it on board or don't take it on board. I've heard of so many people where I don't remember that bit, it just went in one ear and came out the other ear. And then for the person, if there is someone else with them, and how they take that on board and handle it. And where they go next, and their own together and separate experiences of a diagnosis for someone that you love. Because you've got the patient, and then you've got the friend or the family member.
And obviously when somebody gets diagnosed, it's primarily about the patient. It's the patient feeling it, it's the patient going through it, it's the patient that needs the support. What we noticed and have noticed since is that it is the patient that is sick, it is the patient getting the treatment, but it is very much the family that gets everything else. So family get forgotten a lot, but the family need as much support sometimes as the patient does, because if you haven't got the family propping up the patient, if they fall, then everything just falls apart. And if you have got a patient that really is detached and really is just let everything swim over their head and hoping that you're just going to pick it up, you need to be looking after the family. The family support angle is really, really key.
Yeah, absolutely key. And there are different experiences had by both sides. And of course, different diagnoses, different patients, and all of those different things. But the common ground is, how do I cope with this? How do I support the person that's going through it, but still keep myself together, still keep myself in a good and healthy place so I can support that person. And I guess for us, this was the beginning of that journey, that diagnosis, that dreaded place that none of us want to be at, that none of us want to sit in, but it is part of life and is highly likely to happen to you or a family member at some point.
And to be fair, I mean, I've said a few times Dad was detached. When Dad got the diagnosis of cancer, which it was, all Dad saw was it's cancer, and all Dad saw was that's it, it's over and out for me. But at the time he got diagnosed, which was 16, 17 years ago, advancements in cancer were improving. And the end result of Dad's diagnosis was that he was free of cancer. There's a lot more outside of that we will talk about through this series. But yeah, people often check out when they get a diagnosis. They just see it as, okay, this is the end, and either go through the motions and do the treatment, but not always with a positive light, or completely flip it on its head and are super positive and come out of it the other side with some really, really good results.
Absolutely, there's a lot of advancements, and also we have got more than one experience. We've got different diagnoses from different people and how they've reacted in different ways at different times in their life. So this was our first rodeo, but we've had many, many since.
And we've decided to do Topside Talks so we can share our stories, so we can share other people's stories, so that the ultimate goal is give as much as we can out into the ether so we can help people navigate, I call it the minefield, so let's navigate the minefield. Hopefully what we've been through, what other people have been through, and what we can share can help people not face the trauma quite so badly.
Yeah, because although there is a huge amount of support out there, sometimes people just haven't got a clue where to go, or a clue what to do, or even an inkling of how to react themselves, and understanding that whatever way you react, it's okay. It's okay to be extreme with your reaction. It's okay to hide away or feel like you want to hide away. Whatever your reaction, it's normal, and it's just understanding where it comes from and getting the right thing at the right time that you need to help you. And again, the patient, really.
Yeah, so the patient is primary, the family is secondary primary, and then outside of that you've got the younger generation that are part of the family that also need to know what's going on at some point, because otherwise what they see is mum and dad and aunts and uncles being very strange, and that has it has effects on them too.
There's a lot of ramifications on wider family, children, and of course your entire life gets turned upside down very often. And if not on the first diagnosis, then on a second diagnosis, your life changes and the way that you view the world changes, and it's adapting and coping with all of those different changes as best you can.
So diagnosis is step one, dealing with, talking with, understanding, knowing where to go for help.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess one of the other things that I really want to get across in these talks is that it doesn't all have to be doom, gloom and misery. There's a lot of things that can be positive. There's a lot of things that can bring joy and humour. And that may sound like a really weird thing to say right now, but hopefully you will get a gist of that as you listen to some of the other talks. So obviously everyone has to start somewhere with their journey. If you would like any help, any support, then please get in contact with us to ask questions. We're always here to talk and support you. You can get in contact us via any information that's attached to this podcast. So whatever you're listening on, it will be there. Or you can contact us at jt-accounts.co.uk.
So our question is, if you could say something to or ask death anything, what would it be?
Why does life have an expiration date, but not you?
That is a good question. Really good question.
I like that.
I like that too. I like this one too. Can you give me 5 minutes?
Oh,
You can pack a lot into 5 minutes.
you can pack a lot into 5 minutes.